causing pain or discomfort, as in joint pain, muscular discomfort, entirely up to you. If you need to stop and have a rest, stop and have a rest. If you can keep it going for as long as you can. Usual props, so a band or belt, a strap, and then a pillow. Or if you've got it, like a little ball that you can use for resistance. If you're seated, just trying to find your neutral alignment. So sitting as tall as possible, as usual, trying to open up the space between the ribs and the hips so that the diaphragm is not being crushed down, it's not being squashed. And then obviously it can't move properly, forcing you to breathe apically, forcing you to breathe into the top of the chest, into the neck, into the shoulders. So see if I can open up the space at the front, allowing a little bit more space for the diaphragm to descend and ascend. So feeling the belly expanding as I inhale, and then softening, relaxing as I exhale. If you're lying down, then you've got the spine lined up to the mat, so the belly should be feeling quite free. See if I can encourage the breath to drop into the belly. And then as I try to keep that soft, relaxed breath going, I'm just going to do a little scan over the body. So noticing how you feel, if there is any tension, niggle, discomfort, pain anywhere in the body. Noticing how the pressure is distributed. So if I'm lying down, do I feel the same pressure on the right and left side? If I'm seated, can I feel the same pressure on my right and my left seat bone? Am I slightly leaning to the right or moving to the left? I'm not changing anything, just noticing where everything is and how I feel to begin the class. As I feel a little bit more settled, the breath feels a little bit calmer, then I'm just going to focus on the shoulders. I'm going to start with a little protraction, retraction. So I'm going to try and pull the shoulders forward, and then I'm going to push them back. Pull them forward, and then push them back. So if I'm lying down, I'll be trying to pull them to the ceiling, and then push them into the floor, pull them to the ceiling, push them into the floor. If I'm seated, imagine to be squeezing the shoulder blades together, so pulling them to the back of the chair, and then trying to squeeze them together at the front, pulling them to the front. So to the back, and then to the front. 4, 3, 2, last one, and releasing back. Then from protraction, retraction, I'm going to go into a little elevation, depression. So I'm going to shrug the shoulders up to the head, and then depressing them, I'm going to press them down and away. So I'm going to elevate and depress. Pull them up and press them down. Pull them up and press them down. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and releasing back to the middle. Then I'm going to try and see if I can mix the movement together. So think of a little shoulder roll. So I'm going to pull them forward, shrug them up, push them back, press them down. Pull them forward, shrug them up, back and down. So I'm just going to try and circle them around. If I'm seated, I've got space around me and behind me. So I'm going to try and use that space as much as I can. There will be scrunching noises. As far as there is no pain, it doesn't matter about the noise. Just making sure that there is no pain with the noise. If I'm lying down, I'm a little bit more limited for space. But I can still roll the shoulders around. I can still get those 4 directions flowing one after the other. 3, 2, and then reversing the circles going the other way. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and releasing back. Allowing the shoulders to drop away from the head, allowing the shoulders to relax. So it's a little bit more movement into the shoulder girdle. This time I'm going to focus on the shoulder joint. So one arm at a time, I'm going to start raising it up in front of me, and then taking it as far up, as far back as I feel that I can. And then returning the arm back by the side, and then I'm going to try the same thing the other way. So if I'm lying down, see how far back I can take the arm without straining the shoulders, without lifting the chest, without arching the back. If I'm seated, the arms will be heavier, so I might not be able to lift it very high. It doesn't matter, just to see if you can be aware of the shoulder joint moving without forcing. So I'm not stiffening, I'm not forcing, I'm not fighting that lift. I'm trying to create a nice loose lift on one and a nice loose relaxed lift on the other side. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and releasing back, giving the shoulders a little bit of a roll. From flexion extension, I'm going to go into abduction adaption. So I'm going to raise the arms in front of the body, and then this time both arms together. I'm going to open out as far as I can, and then I'm going to squeeze back together. I'm going to open up as far as I can, and then squeeze back together. Again, if I'm seated, I've got more space, so I can even reach the arms behind us slightly, and then squeeze them back together. If I'm lying down, I'll run out of space very quickly because the floor underneath. So I'm just going to try and open as much as I can touch the floor, and then I'm going to try and squeeze them back in. Open, and then squeeze back. 5, 4, 3, 2, last one, and releasing back, relaxing the shoulders, releasing the arms. Again, it's a little bit more movement into the shoulder joint. I'm going to change the direction of the movement one more time. I'm going to go for a little lateral raise. So I'm going to start swinging the arm to the side. So if you're lying down, imagine the little snow angel, one arm at a time. So I'm going to try and swing one arm, swing it back, swing the other arm, and then swing it back. If I'm seated, as usual, if the shoulder is a bit restricted, if the movement feels a bit too tight, I'm still going to swing to the side but allowing the arm to maybe come to the front slightly. So I'm just going to make a slightly shallower swim, making sure that the shoulder can cope with the movement. It doesn't feel as if there is strain, it doesn't feel as if there is too much tension or pressure in the joint. 4. 3. 2. Last time. And releasing back. Relaxing the shoulders, the same as I did for the shoulder girdle. I'm going to see if I can put all the movements together into one. So I'm going to go into a little arm circles. So I'm going to start raising the arms up to the front. I'm going to open them out nice and wide and then bring them down towards the hips. Then again, I'm going to take them up to the front, swing them round, back to the hips. So little circle, big circle. Again, whatever feels comfortable for both shoulders and both arms as they're moving together. 5. 4. 3. 2. 1. I'm going to have a little rest and then I'm going to reverse that circle. So I'm going to start with a nice big swing to the side, up to the ceiling, and then together I'm going to bring them down. Out to the side, big circle to come back. 3. 4. 5. 6. 7. 8. 9. 10. And releasing back. Giving the shoulders a little bit of a roll. I'm just going to give myself a nice tight hug. So think with your right arm to reach around the rib cage, around the back of the shoulder, as if I wanted to grab hold of the left shoulder blade. So I'm going to try and hug myself as far as I can. And then with the left arm, I'm just going to see if I can hug the right shoulder. So I'm going to try and walk the hands as far around the back as I can, creating a nice gentle opening across the middle of the back. And then from there, once I've got the tight hug going, I'm just going to rock gently from side to side. Just a little movement to see if I can start freeing the back of the rib cage, the middle of the back. 5. 4. 3. 2. 1. Coming back to the middle, I want you to swap the arms around. So whichever one is at the top, I'm going to put it underneath. And then again, I'm going to see if I can give myself that nice tight hug again. And then that gentle rocking side to side again. 1. 2. 3. 4. 5. 6. 7. 8. 9. 10. And releasing back. Releasing the hug, giving the shoulders a little bit of a blow. It's a little bit more movement into the shoulder girdle. I'm going to focus on the hip. So I want to try and loosen up into the hip joint a little bit more. I'm going to start off with a little bit of an in and out. So I'm just going to bend the knees and then lining up feet and knees with the hips. I'm going to squeeze the knees together. So I'm going to try and press them to the middle and then I'm just going to try and pull them away from each other. So I'm going to squeeze them together, and then I'm going to try and pull them away. Squeeze them together, and then pull them away. As you keep the squeeze and opening going, same as usual, if I'm struggling in one direction or with one leg, or with both legs, I'm just going to use the hands to guide the legs. I'm not after a huge movement. What I'm after is trying to get some movement side to side into the hip joint. So squeezing and then opening, squeezing and then opening. And then same as usual, noticing if one leg tends to respond better than the other. So I might find that when I open, one leg seems to be moving further out. When I squeeze, it seems that one leg seems to be coming in while the other one is not getting there. I'm going to try and create movement as symmetric as possible. So I'm just going to give myself a little bit more time to focus on the slower, weaker leg. 4, 3, 2, 1, and relax. Giving the hips a little shake, this is a little bit more movement into the hip joint as well. From opening and closing, I'm going to go into a little lifting and lowering. So it's a little up and down. So I'm going to keep the knees bent as usual. If I need a little support for the lifting, as the leg is not responding very well, I can use the band around the back of the right leg to help me guide that leg in the direction I want it to go. So I want the leg to go up. If I'm seated, I can even use my hands, so whatever it's easier. So focusing on the right leg first, I'm going to try and flex the hip, so closing the hip joint to see if I can try and pull that foot away from the ground. So I'm going to lift the right and then lower it back. Lift and then lower it back. The foot might lift off the ground, it might not lift. It doesn't matter, just to see if you can focus the intention into the front of the hip to see if I can feel that front of the hip kind of like twitching, tensing, to try and close, to try and get control over the leg and then pulling it up and towards me. And then I'm just going to ease it back down again. So little lift and lower, using the band to help me guide the leg if I need to. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and release. Relaxing the leg, relaxing the hip. I'm going to try the same thing with the left. So switching the band around the left leg if you need the band to help. Using the hands if you rather. And then see if I can get that left hip going. So trying to pull that left foot and then relaxing it back, pulling it up, and then relaxing it back. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and release. Relaxing the hip, releasing the leg. This is a little bit more control going up with the hip joint, I'm going to see if I can start going around a little. So going back onto the right side, putting the band around the back of the leg again if I feel that I need a little support. And then I'm just going to guide that leg into a little circle. So imagine a pencil strapped to the tip of your knee. I'm going to start drawing circles with that pencil in front of me. So if I'm seated, I'm trying to draw the circle on the wall in front. If I'm lying down, I'm going to try and draw the circle up on the ceiling above me. So see if I can feel the leg moving into the hip socket. Nothing is grinding, nothing is pinching, nothing is catching. It's a nice loose, relaxed movement. 4, 3, 2, 1. Reversing the circle, going the other way. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and release, relaxing the hip. Little rest for the arms as well, if you've been using the arms to guide the leg around. And then I'm going to repeat the same thing with the left side. So again, if I need the band, I'm going to place it behind that left leg. And then same as I did on the right, I'm just going to start drawing that little circle on the ceiling above me if I'm lying down, on the wall opposite if I'm seated up. So again, doesn't matter how big or small the circle. See if I can just be aware of the leg moving into the hip socket. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Reversing the circle, going the other way. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and releasing back, relaxing the hip, relaxing the leg, shaking off the tension of the arms. Again, if I've been using the arms to help me carry and help me guide the leg around. And then I'm going to stay with the legs, but this time I'm going to try and focus a little bit more on the back of the hips and the back of the bum. So I'm going to find a comfortable position for the legs, and then I'm going to start focusing on the glutes, on the bum. I'm going to start clenching the right bum cheek. Relax, left, relax, right, relax, left, relax. As I clench, let go, clench, let go. If I'm seated, it should be feeling as if my hips are just kind of like being pushed up and down. If I'm lying down, it should be feeling as if the hips are kind of like rocking gently from side to side. As the back of the bum tenses, it tends to push the hip forward. As it relaxes, it drops back to level. And then same as usual, if I feel that one side doesn't feel that good, I'm going to focus on that side. If I feel that I can't isolate when I clench, I have to clench them both. I'm going to squeeze them both, so encourage that tension, but gradually see if I can move the intention on one side. So see if I can gradually try to disconnect to that left and then tense just the right, disconnect the right, and then tense just the left side. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I'm going to relax a little bit, and then I'm going to squeeze both together. See if you can squeeze them as hard as you can. So I'm just going to squeeze them together and then relax. Squeeze them together and relax. Squeeze them together and relax. If before I could feel one side of the pelvis bobbing up, this time I should be able to feel both sides going up together and dropping down together. Whether I'm seated or lying down, I just can feel the muscle tensing, pushing the hips, and then relaxing. I can feel myself dropping back into that starting position. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and release. Little rest for the hips, and then this time I'm still going to focus on the back of the bum, but more than the back of the bum, I'm going to try and focus on my pelvic floor muscles. So think of a front and back passage, tightening and drawing in together towards the middle. So I'm going to squeeze with the back of the bum. I'm going to try and draw everything together, and then I'm going to hold that tension. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and then I'm just going to relax. I'm going to try again. So I'm going to draw everything together. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and relax. Again, everything together. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and relax. This time, everything together, but see if you can pay a little bit more attention to that front passage. So I'm going to try and draw up, focusing on that front passage. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I'm going to relax. Everything together, but this time I'm going to focus on the back passage more. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Relax. Back with the focus of the front. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Relax. Focus at the back. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Relax. One more time. Focus at the front. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Relax. Focus at the back. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And relax. Relaxing through the hips. Then see if I can try and create a little bit of a load. So same as usual. If I'm seated, I'm just going to try and move the feet a little bit closer to the chair. And then leaning forward into the legs and squeezing with the back of the bum as if I was trying to stand off the chair. And then I'm just going to ease my weight back down. If I'm lying down, I'm just going to bridge my way up, so pushing down through the soles of the feet, squeezing the hips up to the ceiling, and then I'm going to drop them back down. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and releasing back, relaxing the hips and releasing the legs. So hopefully a little bit more connected all the way around the hip joint. I'm going to focus on the back. Starting onto the lower back, I'm going to go into a little pelvic tilt. So tilting the pelvis back, pressing the lower back gently into the mat, and then I'm going to rock myself back into neutral. So if I'm lying down, I'm going to use the mat to guide me. I want the hips to roll back, the lower back to drop down into the mat. The belly connected at the front, then I'm going to release back into neutral, and then I'm going to tilt my way back again. If I'm seated, same as usual, see if you can isolate the movement as much as possible into the lower back. So not so much movement into the upper back and the shoulders. See if I can get that little rocking just into the lumbar spine. So I'm going to tilt the pelvis, draw the belly in, see if I can try and round the lower back, and then I'm just going to come back into neutral. Round the lower back, and then back into neutral. So just rocking forward and back over the seat bones towards the tailbone, and then coming back onto the seat bones again, towards the tailbone, and then back onto the seat bones again. So see if I can loosen up the tension from the lower back and the back of the hips. So there shouldn't be pain. You should be feeling quite relaxed in movement. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and releasing back, returning the hips back to the middle. From a little flexion extension, I'm going to go into a little lateral flexion, into a little hip hitch. So same as usual, think of taking your right hip towards the right side of the rib cage. I'm going to try and hitch the right hip up, and then left to the left, right to the right, left to the left. So this time, feeling the pelvis moving gently, rocking gently from side to side. If you're down on your back, making sure that the pelvis is flat against the floor. It's just a gently rocking from one to the other side. So the right side pulls, then the left side pulls, the right side, and then the left side. So a little bit more tension, a little bit more activation into the side of the belly, into the obliques, to create that little hitch. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and release. Relaxing the hips, so releasing the lower back. Just a little bit more movement at the bottom. I'm going to start coming up towards the middle, towards the top. I'm going to start with a little rotation, crossing the arms onto the chest, whether you're lying down or seated up. I'm just going to bring the arms onto the chest, and then think of a nice, easy, shorter movement from side to side. So I'm just going to rotate one, and then the other way, one, and then the other way. So imagine your body to be like a massive screw that it's got a little bit rusty. So I'm just trying to loosen up the screw with a little side to side movement. So if I'm laying down, exactly the same, I'm going to keep the arms crossed onto the chest and just gently rolling from side to side over the shoulders. So just a little movement, easing off some of the stiffness of the upper body of the back. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and releasing back to the middle. So I've got a little loosening up done, so I can feel that the screw is moving a little bit more. I'm going to open up the movement. So this time I'm going to reach the arms in front of me, and then I'm just going to open up that swing. So I'm going to see if I can rotate a little bit further to the right, and then over to the left. So rolling from shoulder to shoulder. If I'm laying down, if I'm seated, taking advantage of all the space that it's around me to really open up the movement, swing around the back, swing around the other way. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and releasing back. Giving the shoulders a little bit of a roll, is a little bit more movement into the upper back. I'm going to try a similar pattern, but going into lateral flexion. So I'm just going to cross the arms onto the chest again, and then I'm just going to start with a little side to side. So imagine the upper body like a little pendulum that you're just going to let move from one to the other, from one to the other side. Or even better, think of a little metronome going tick, tock, tick, tock. So without trying to go too deep, too far to the side, just a little movement from side to side, from side to side. If I'm laying down, just allowing the head to bounce from one side to the other, or just holding it if I feel that the neck is getting stiffer, is getting tighter. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and releasing back to the middle, adjusting the shoulders, and then same as I did for the rotation, I'm going to see if I can go bigger. So if you're lying down, one hand goes behind the head, the other arm reaches down the side of the body. I'm going to flex to the side. Imagine with your hand to be touching your foot. Then I'm going to swap the arms, and then I'm going to try and reach down the other way. And then swapping again. If I'm seated, I'm going to let the arms come down, long down the side. And then imagine to be picking up something from the floor. So I'm just going to flex to the side, pull back to the center, flex to the side, pull back to the center. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and releasing back to the middle. Adjusting the shoulders, adjusting the back. If you're lying down, rolling over onto your side, and in your own time, pushing yourself up into sitting. Finding a comfortable position for the legs. And then same as we did at the beginning, see if you can allow the back to lengthen, to lift, to see if you can create that space at the front of the body to encourage the breath into the belly, the diaphragmatic breath. And using the arms to support, leaning against the wall or a sofa. If I feel that I need support at the back, maintaining that nice upright position, I'm just going to go up in extension. So pushing the chest forward, lifting it up. I'm going to look forward, I'm going to look up, I'm going to look back. And then I'm going to release, coming forward into flexion, allowing the chin to come down to the chest, and the shoulders to roll forward, the back to round. And then release, and extending up, pushing the chest forward, lifting up and towards the ceiling, looking forward, looking up, looking back. And then releasing, coming forward, chin drops to the chest, to the back rounds, the head drops. One more time, extending up, trying to create as much space at the front of the body as you can. And then releasing, coming forward. One hand to the belly, one hand to the back. Take your bow. Give yourself a clap for that. Any question or anything as usual?